I knew that I needed to also be able to explain the disease, the patient journey, and the treatment. I needed to explain it to the patients themselves. So in doing that, I got very attached to the patient. I got very attached to, outcome of patients on treatment. How well do they do? How do I motivate them? For some of them, they lose their hair. I mean, if you're conversant with chemotherapy and the side effects, they shed hair, their nails get dark, their skin gets really dark. They have all kinds of side effects. I had to start encouraging them. I had to also read up on certain things. And in the midst of all of that, my love for science came back to me. Maybe not in the lab, but I also understood the place of science, you know, in the outcome and survival of patients, from even their medication, their diet, exercise. It became like an holistic understanding of how do we survive. Cancer happens to people on different levels. They don't necessarily have to have smoked, or they don't necessarily need to be like alcoholics. You understand the different stages of cancer, the outcomes, and just in general, I was exposed to patients and the treatment of cancer. I also got exposed to having to educate doctors. So it also came to me that these same doctors, quote and unquote, who will feel that they know it all, they actually do not know so much. They only know what they were taught. And so it also became a a responsibility for me to also educate doctors about different medications and how they should best select their patients to go on those treatments. That was me also adding value. So I might not be a doctor, but I'm also helping doctors in achieving their own practice because they don't know. So I'm the one who knows my medication. I might know a disease area better than a doctor because I have been further to study. Many times doctors don't study as much because they are overwhelmed with patient care. Most of them, or some of them, they're more drawn towards money. So they're doing private practice, hopping from one hospital center to another, and they're not spending so much time studying the different disease areas, medications that will help a patient. And as many patients that come, patients react differently to medication. So for me, I'm able to do that research on behalf of the doctor and then come to a doctor and then give him that information. It makes me valuable to the patient, it makes me valuable to the doctor. It helps him achieve, his own set targets. I mean, every doctor wants to save lives, right? But if he doesn't know or if he doesn't have as much information as he requires to help those patients, then he's lacking in his job. So if I'm coming to him with a medication, I'm telling him, okay, as much as you want to use this medication for this patient, you're not going to get the best outcome from this medication. I feel this patient should go on XYZ medication. You'll get better outcomes. It might be more expensive, or it might be cheaper, or you might have more side effects, but these patients in the long run will get better better quality or better more benefit from this treatment, and then it also helps doctor achieve his own treatment goal. So going into science initially was like an accident for me. Even after studying and graduating, it still seemed all vague to me. But as I kept on, kind of staying in science without deliberately staying in science, I was able to find my footing, and then I found a place where I can add value to patients in general, to doctors, and you know, in the long run, I have been able to do much more than I thought I was going to do at the beginning.
Wow. Did you guys hear that? Isn't that fascinating? Where, she's within her company, she's still interacting with patients. She understands some of the things that the medical doctors don't understand. She interacts with the patient. She's able to, based on their what would I call it, their diagnosis, is able to know
Yeah,
what medication will be best for them. That is like mine. So you're like advising the doctor. So you're like the expo when the doctor will come and be like, hey, damn you, say what did I do for this patient?
absolutely, absolutely.
Wow, that's super cool. I get why you would like to stay. What about you, Shay? Why are you staying? What's the impact? What has impacted your life? Why?
Okay. So firstly, I'm just going to remind us that science is life, right? And science is also what makes life easy. And I'm going to explain that in a bit. Where the turning point for me was, my grandfather had diabetes. He died at 74. And my mom is also diabetic. And what killed my grandfather would have died a lot earlier if not for medication, insulin regulation. I'm hyping biochemists. If you're a biochemist and you're here,
Oh, yeah,
catch your hype.
now to
You know, because he was able to live to 74. I have so many good memories with my grandfather. He sent me birthday cards. There was a specific type of birthday card he used to send us every year. Once you were a teenager, you graduated from 200 naira notes to 500 naira notes. And if you turned 18, you graduated from 500 naira notes to 1000 naira notes. I'm sharing these memories for a reason. I wouldn't have had them if he didn't live as long as 74. And he wouldn't have lived as long as 74 if he was not being managed, his insulin levels and other medications, right? The turning point for me was when we started to learn hormonal biochemistry in school. I think the biochemists will be very familiar with this. We learned about hormones and what they do. You remember this beta pancreas that we were taught, what is responsible for the production of insulin, how it actually works, and we also did another course called drug metabolism in biochemistry as well. And if you think about this is what made these drugs possible, right? The medication possible is the research that we did from the knowledge of biochemistry, right? And that was a turning point for me in that the doctors, like everyone has said, couldn't do it. This is no discredit to doctors. The thing is, everybody has their part to play.
right.
Like I said, science is life, and there are many parts of life. The doctors, we can't do what the doctors do.
No.
As much as I would love to, I cannot deliver any baby right now for anybody. I can pray for them.
Blood.
I cannot be in the theater and perform a cesarean section. I cannot give an epidural for the life of me. There's a part that doctors play. There's a part that radiologists play. The radiologist can do a scan and tell you things that the doctor cannot tell you, but they can interpret what the radiologist has said. Do you understand? Do you understand what I mean? They can interpret what the radiologist has given them to make your life better. Same way, the biochemists, we can do a lot of research on different hormones and we are the ones that can explain the metabolism of some drugs to the doctors. So what I'm trying to say is everybody has a part to play. It was the time that I realized that I have a part to play, and it's an important one. It was the game changer for me. It was what made me decide, oh, I'm going to stay in science. Biochemists may not often be talked about, but their impact is almost always felt. As a matter of fact, the impact is felt from school. Everybody hates biochemistry. So the doctors were always like, why do we have to study this thing? But here we are, survived it for 4 years, enjoyed it, as a matter of fact, at some point. So the game changer for me was realizing that science is life. Science is what makes life easy, and realizing that I have a part to play in that, no matter how small or how big it is. No matter the field, biochemistry is also very vast. I happen to do my MSc in biochemistry, but under cancer research and molecular biology. In the past year, we have understood how important molecular biologists are in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, I'm very proud to say I may not be part of the larger bodies who are reporting cases, but I know how many people I trained at the NCDC. I know how many people I had to train at private labs who had no clue how to run a a real-time PCR. Had no clue what to do about it, had no clue how to even interpret the data. You understand me? And that seems like a very small, it's a small part to play, maybe, but the higher impact, because they would have, guess what? If I don't teach them, they would report false cases for you.
Yeah.
They will call a positive patient negative and a negative patient positive. You run from your father at home because they said he's positive. They will put him, who is actually negative, in the quarantine center with positive people, and he will now eventually be positive. I'm just sharing with you these little things that come up to make up the big things, right? And this little research on drugs, little research on hormones, little research on cancer that biochemists have done and other people have done has resulted to something big. Cancer cases are lower. People, they're now, we can now imagine a life living with malaria, not dying. Do you understand me? Because of these advances in science. And that's why I'm saying that science is life. And science is the thing that makes life easy for everybody. And that's enough reason for me to stay. The little part that I think I'm putting in makes a world of difference. And that's enough reason to stay.
Yeah, if they take us biologists out of the picture, healthcare is gone. So let me even add to this, and shout out to you, Halima Mohammed, in the chat. She's a food biologist, or would I call, she's a food scientist sort of. And what she does is her research focuses on trying to make meats that have less salt content so that hypertension patients will not become hypertensive and slum on the road. So take that out of the picture. Do you know the junk that's in our food? Do you know the salt content that's in our food? Take Halima out of the picture. Do your real-time PCR. Do your COVID test. You damn cure cancer. Hypertension is going to go. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can never, even if you are doing food, you can't take them out of the picture. Like holding hands together and doing something. Even the veterinary scientists, there's so many zoonotic, they're called zoonotic diseases, where if you don't have that under control, like we might as well just say, hello, God. Do you understand what I'm saying? So people need to start realizing that, it's about impact, and if impact is important to you, you should definitely retain your biology degree. So I'm going to run along to, now I'm like wondering, what should I tease you people with? Okay, so that we can capture the undergraduates in the house right now, people that are still in school. I just want you to briefly just tell me what school was like just very briefly, what school was like, what was important to you, friendships, mentorships, what, made you pull through, school that maybe has now had a lasting impact on your life or anything. How important are the grades? Like, should we care about getting good grades in school? Will that tell on how we're able to get a job in Nigeria? I just want to get a cohesive understanding of that so that the undergrads that are in 200 level, they can start knowing what to focus on now, if you get what I mean. Paul, because you also are a lecturer at Redeemers University, I'm going to start with you.
Thank you for the question. So my undergraduate, first of all, I have to say, grades are important. So you should, especially in Nigeria nowadays, it's important to try and finish the good result. I mean, if right now your results are not good, you shouldn't feel discouraged. I mean, still try to work hard and all of that. But it's important to, finish the good. Whether you want to work in Nigeria, you want to work outside the country, good results do matter. Like people would actually check your result, they would see the kind of grades you have, and it actually speaks for you. There are doors that maybe like your results will open for you. There are doors that will open for you just because you have an excellent result that wouldn't open a normal DVD and an excellent result. So it's important to strive as much as possible to finish a good result. Yeah, but back to my undergraduate days, like for me, like it was my focus in like I said, I didn't really want to do microbiology. I just went for it because I couldn't do medicine. So Initially, I was just sliding through. It wasn't like I was putting so much passion into it. But one thing I was sure of was I just knew I wanted to finish with a good result. So even though I wasn't enjoying the course, I kept telling myself, I'm still going to go back for medicine. So I'm just doing this because just to pass away time. When I'm done, I will go back for medicine. So, but one thing I knew I was very particular about was I knew I wanted to finish with a good result. So even though I wasn't like really doing the course I really wanted, I knew I wanted to finish the good result by all means. But there were the friends I met along the way, and most importantly, like one of my mentors that I met along the way actually helped like to shape my life and determine the direction of my life. Like for instance, my PhD supervisor now, I met him during my undergraduate days. He became my mentor during my undergraduate days, and right now he's my the PhD supervisor. So so yes, I think mentorship is important. It's important as an undergraduate student to put yourself out there, talk to people, ask questions. Like so many of us are always very scared of walking up to people to talk to them. I mean, the worst that will happen is they'll tell you, "I don't have time for you." I mean, that's the worst that can happen. I don't think anybody's going to slap you because you came to ask them a question. So, so I think it's important in undergraduate is to meet people, like to ask questions, reach out to people. And nowadays, social media has even made it even better. Most of us are on Twitter. A lot of professors are on Twitter. You can actually just DM somebody and they would respond to you.
Right.
So social media has made it very easy, like Twitter, LinkedIn. They've made it so easy to communicate with people. So as an undergraduate student, like it's important to mentorship is very important. Sometimes all you would need to get a particular level, to get the next level in your career might just be just one connection that you have, just one person that just likes you, one person that you met one time and you ask questions and the person sees an opportunity and tells you about it. So so,
No.
so I think mentorship is important. Learn to ask questions. Like for instance, the person who is my PhD person now, doing my undergraduate is when I met him and I started interacting with him. He was the one who told me about this masters and PhD opportunity when it came out. He was the one who called me and said, "Hey, Paul, so I just got a huge grant from the World Bank to start a lab. Would you be interested in coming back to work in my lab?" I didn't have to like go to apply. He called me, and that was because I had developed a relationship with him during my undergraduate degree.
Mm.
I hadn't had a personal relationship with him during my undergraduate days, and I'm not sure he would have reached out to me to come and work with him when I finished my BSc. So
And it
I
was
think
because of that relationship that you ended up going to Harvard. Do you guys like? Can you tell them about that bit? Like from Nigeria, because of that mentorship relationship that he had with his advisor, they sent him to what? Walter Reed, first of all.
yeah, so because I had a relationship with him and he got a grant from the World Bank to start a lab, so he was able to send me to different institutions for training. So first of all, he sent me to Walter Reed in the US, and then he sent me to Harvard, and then he sent me to Cambridge University in the UK. So like he sent me to like different places for trainings, and that was because I built a relationship with him during my undergraduate degree. So it's important to make sure. As far as I'm concerned, I think one of the most important things you do during your undergraduate degree is to build a relationship with people who are ahead of you. It's like professors and people who are doing their PhDs or doing their master. Just make sure you build relationships because those those connections will serve you later in life. You might never know. One of them might just be the one that will reach out to you later and be like, "Hey, I saw this opportunity. Are you interested?" So
Exactly.
so I think it's important to build mentorship, send emails to people. If, like, for instance, I can give you another personal example. So I was struggling with one particular area, and there was this senior scientist that is on Twitter who is like that's his area of focus. He's a senior scientist. Like this is not a small person, and so I felt I could learn from you, but I didn't know how to reach out. So I was able to like maybe I think on his LinkedIn I was able to get his email address. So I sent him a mail, I introduced myself, and I told him I'm really interested in this area. Where would you like to like have a call with me to explain some things to me? He responded to my message within like an hour. This is somebody who is very very busy. Like he's a senior scientist in the field. I've never met him before. I've never spoken to him before. I just sent an email. I mean, you could have just ignored my mail, but at least if I didn't try, I wouldn't have built. Now I have a very good relationship with him. Now, if I need anything, I can just send him a chat, like, "Hey, how are you doing? Like, I need help with something." But if I didn't like send that initial email to build a relationship with him, I won't have the kind of relationship with him that I have now. So as an undergraduate student, make sure you are building important relationships. Reach out to people, ask people questions. And they don't have to be in your university alone. They can be outside your university. Just social media has made it easy. On Twitter, if you see somebody that you're interested in working with, send the person a DM. I'm working on this. Like I would like, or I have this idea. Or this, just reach out to people. You never know how these connections would serve you later in life. So I think that's one major advice I would give to undergraduate students: to reach out to people.
No, absolutely. You are 100% right. I always like to say that what you need is within your immediate circle, right? So if my friends need something and they don't open their mouth to ask me, I may not have it, but I may know someone that knows someone that knows someone that has it. And it's like a ripple effect. So you've got to be happy to share your, not, obviously carry your matter on you. You share your problems with people that will be important relationships. Now, we're not just saying anyhow relationships that will be able to help you. Ask people. There is always resource. There are people that I've opened up my calendar now once a month that, okay, I want to talk to 10 people every month. There might be something that I know. Like when I know people that are doing graduate programs here, I know Paul, I know Dami, I know Shay. If you need something, and I know that Shay can link you, know how. If I tell Shay this thing, she will be able to help you. If you haven't reached out to me, or if you haven't taken advantage of that opportunity that I've given you to have a chat with me, how would you ever know? You just keep on struggling. So networking is so important. I know how many people that by word of mouth, they didn't even have to struggle. It was that I said, hey, do this, or let me go and ask this person right now, and boom, they got what they wanted. They were in. They didn't have to struggle. So forget it. Life is hard, but sometimes if you have those important relationships, it will really break that barrier. There's somebody that will link you to the thing that you need the most. So I just wanted to add that there. I want to ask you this particular question because you kind of shared with me, how difficult it was for you as an undergrad and in the beginning, and how you picked yourself back up that you're able to get where you are now. Can you tell me, there might be someone somewhere who is there just like, well, Paul sounds cool, he went to Harvard, but I'm not really smart. Like, how am I going to think about that?
Okay. So this is for anybody who has already started maybe on the wrong foot in school. I'm pretty sure there's one or two people here who are maybe already in 300 level and with a low CGPA and already like, forget it. I can't meet up. And Paul did say that good grades are important, and they are. There's no lie there. But I want to say that it's never too late to pick yourself back up. When I started, first of all, I've never been an average student. I've always been an exceptional student from primary school. But in university, finding my way was a bit difficult because I didn't want to study biochemistry. As a matter of fact, in my 100 level, what they told us at Bowen when we went was that if we do well in biochemistry in first year, we could be translated to medicine in the second year. When we started the course, we discovered, oh, that's not really true. They just did it so you can stay, So at the end of my 100 level, I wrote JAMB in 100 level to study medicine in the University of Ibadan. It was between the 100 level and 200 level, I figured, well, I'm here already, so let's just make it work. Because there was still strike, and then UI was not forthcoming at the time. I struggled in 200 level, even from 100 level, because I didn't think I was staying. So I was like, well, let's just go to class and let's just rough it, and of course that didn't go well. So anything you're not intentional about is likely to fail. So I wasn't very intentional about my first year. I left. I'm going to be very specific about the details. I finished my first year with maybe a 2.9 CGPA, I failed chemistry, organic chemistry. It was 3 units. In physiology or anatomy, one of them, which was also a 3 unit course, I got a D. So it was really down. My first GP was 3.06. My second one was 2 points, bloody hell. So it just came all down to 2.96. I'm being very specific because I'm hoping that this inspires somebody as well. So this is where I'm going to say that you should be careful of the friends that you're keeping in school. Okay, let them be ambitious too, please. It's necessary. Keep ambitious people as friends. People that will motivate you, people that believe in you, and people that believe in themselves and want to make something out of themselves. Do you understand what I mean? So 200 level came. And it was a struggle as well. I think I was just about average. Maybe 3.2 here, 3.3 there in the second semester. And at that point, I figured, oh, I'm staying here. I don't like average. I want to at least give it a shot. I know that I didn't have many chances of. At that point after 200, I had no chance of having a first class, honestly. So, but I decided, you know what? I'm going to give it my best anyways. And that's what I want you to do, to give it your best anyway. Now, the beauty of it is you may not graduate to the first class, but you will know something. No? Something went out your head because you have made the effort. So after 200 level, I think I had like a 3.2. I changed my circle of friends. I started to be more intentional about the people in my class, and the people who were doing well in my class. And I said, oh, these people don't have 2 heads. I want to also do well. Okay. And I started to, and it's not like farmsing. Let me tell you something, it's your life. If you like, don't farms correct farms. But it was that anytime I didn't understand something, I looked at these babes and they understood. So I will go and meet them and say, Shola, you need to explain this thing to me, please. Or Blessing, you need to teach me this thing. I don't know it. Did you understand it? And it started from there. And 300 level, here I was, where it began to become tough for people. It began to become easier for me because at this time, I was like, oh, I'm inside this biochemistry. If I'm getting BSc biochemistry, I cannot get a shitty degree. Excuse my French. But I had to, start to make these friends, speak to them, study with them, do my assignments when they're doing theirs, look at what their study patterns were. I literally studied these people because I wanted to also be an excellent student. Long and short, 400 level came. 400 level is like your most difficult year in biochemistry. I was here getting 4.8 GPs. From 300 levels, second semester, I had picked up to a 3.8 GP, and then my CGPA was still somewhere in maybe 3.4 or something. But at this point, I knew, oh, I may not make a first class, but I'm going to make a 2-1. I'm going to be comfortable in that 2-1 that I make. And 400 level came. I pushed a bit harder. I think I had 4.8 in first semester, another 4.8 in second semester. It brought me the boost I needed. I finished with maybe a 3.9 or so. Yeah, 3.96 or something. Not too sure because hello, manager, it doesn't matter now. But I finished top 15 in my class eventually.
Wow.
And biochemistry is hard. Nobody finished with first class in that class, but I finished strong. I didn't finish how I started. And that's my message to anyone who feels down that they've started on the wrong foot. You can still finish strong. And guess what? Paul mentioned this, that there are opportunities that your grades will open for you, right? There are some audiences you will get because you have a first class, okay? But I will challenge you to pick up skills in bio, right? Because skills will help you. If a person has a first class degree, not everybody is like Paul. Paul is one of the few people who have first class degrees that, as in their body is first class. Like I will wake Paul up from his sleep with a bio problem, and he will give me the answer because he knows it. If he didn't know it, he won't be here. If he didn't know it, he won't make it to Harvard. If he didn't know it, his mentor won't push him to Harvard. Okay? There are people too that crammed everything and got their first classes and had no skill and they had nothing to show for it, right? Now we have come to this world where skills are now speaking, they're shouting louder than grades.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. They're shouting louder than grades. So if you have, guess what will be perfect? If you have skills and grades, just be flying. You're already a witch. Just be going. You understand? But if you have come to this place where you've not been able to quite get the grades right, and maybe you're losing hope, you're in fun, do your best, pick up skills, learn, go for conferences, go for workshops. That could be what will give you an edge over some other person. Learn something. What your skill will do for you. You'd be surprised. Where your skill will get you, you'll be surprised. So grades definitely will grant you audience, would open a door for you, and then skills will actually keep you in the conversation. Skills will actually help you stay in the room after the door has been opened for you.
I love how you put it.
That's what I would say.
That's what I was going to say. Grades will open the door, skills will keep you there. So you can't rely on grades. And that was part of it for me too. When I applied to 7 schools and none of them, I had first class, I won 3 academic awards. I was like, whoever doesn't take me, you might as well. Like, I'm like, man, like, if you don't take me, you're lost. But I got the shock of my life after one denial to the other, because there were other people that had packed CVs that, it wasn't all about first class distinction. It was about the skills. And I like how you put it there. I'm going to give this example. I have a friend, I was actually speaking to her last week, and she told me that one day she was in school. Again, this is about mentorship. She was in school that she overheard, she was just in 100 level, this girl. She overheard a conversation of one of her professors that said that this biologist, this 400, he was talking to a 400 level student or something. You are just running after your degree. You will not go and start thinking about what you do with your degree after school. You think it's only lab that you can work. Don't go and find how you put yourself out there, in other places of that you can use your biology degree relevantly. And she heard it, and immediately she knew that to be able to get a job, you needed skills. So every single time, every single holiday she got, from 100 level to 400 level, she was doing internships, unpaid internships. She would just go. Wherever are they hiring? Is it NMPC hospital? Is it this one hospital? She would go, she would put herself out there. She would work for 3 months before school resumes. She was an internship queen every single semester. This is in Nigeria, right? She didn't wait for 400 level IT. And by the way, by the time she got to 400 level, it was so easy for her to get in because she has interned in all these places. Do you now know what shocked me the most? All of that she traveled to Australia. She went to get her master's degree and all of that. And it was now time for her to get a job. By the time she graduated in 400 level, she had 2.5 years working experience. If you add all those internships together, she had 2.5 years working experience. And the interviewer looked at her job and was like, how is this possible? It wasn't even her degree it wasn't her first class that got her the job. It was the fact that it was there on her CV that she has gathered 2.5 years of experience in different areas of science. Is it lab? Is it management? Is it consulting? Is it everything? She had everything there from a biology perspective. And I was like, how is this possible? And she said, I have been doing internships since I was in 100. This actually was like a boss since I was in 100 levels. Like, are you joking? And that was how they started the conversation. And she got the job. Now today she's a manager. I'm older than her. I'm just letting you know. She's a manager in an environmental, one big environmental company in Australia. So guys, like, that's the next question I wanted to ask Dami. If they want to go into it's a great segue. If they want to work, what are the things they can start doing now? What are the things, we've already talked about internship. What are the things that they need to start doing now if they want to work in somewhere like Johnson and Johnson, right? What should they start doing now? So that it's not when they graduate, oh shoot, maybe I should have gotten this certification or what. What are the things that they could do? If you know anything, and Paul, this is also an open question to you as well. What are the things these students need to start doing, or the people that have graduated? What should they start doing? Sheyi has talked about skill.
So for me, I mean, other than what she already said, I probably don't have so much to say. Like you mentioned, internships are good. And don't just go for internships just to work. Other than being there, you have to connect with the people that are there. I think those are some of the things that helped me with the internships that I took. I connected with the guys there. I did not have mentors while I was in uni, but after I graduated and started working, I started connecting with people. I have the job at Johnson & Johnson today because of the connections that I made while on my other jobs. As I started working, I realized that there was more to what I had. I was working with a one-man business, one-man company, and I knew that there was more. I wanted more. So I would say stay hungry. This is something that always comes to mind. If you stay hungry, that is maybe not just for money, but for things that you want to, maybe certifications you want to gather, what you want your profile to look like. Some people, the same people that when I go on LinkedIn, I just go on LinkedIn to see what their profile is like. Where have you worked? What have you done? What certifications have you got? I mean, over time, makes me want to, especially if you're a career-driven person, if you're entrepreneurial, maybe you might not think in that line. Or if you're career-driven, you might just want to go on LinkedIn, see, okay, someone you look up to, what she has done so far, how far she has gone, courses that she had to take, places. I mean, there are some fellowships that you might want to join. It also just builds your connection. I mean, it helps you connect with more people. You're exposing yourself. You're increasing you're opening up your mind to more opportunities and mostly connection. So for me, my own takeaway would be connect with people. When you're in a gathering, I'm not a very social person. I mean, if I hang out with people, I'll probably be the last person to say a word in that gathering. But when it comes to my job and meeting people and connecting with people that I feel okay, if I want to be, for example, the country manager of Johnson Johnson in another 5-10 years, what are the kind of certificates I need to have? What kind of courses do I need to take? What kind of companies? I might not necessarily have to stay in Johnson & Johnson now. I probably need to diversify, go to other companies, get other experiences, expose myself to other opportunities. And then by the time I put all that together, it becomes one whole big thing. So stay hungry, connect yourself with people, make connections that would add value to you, that would open up your mind, that would challenge you to think further beyond where you currently are sitting, and then the sky will be your limit. I mean, will be your starting point, really.
I really like it, and and I'm going to add something else, then give it to Paul. You said something about fellowships.
Yeah.
And recent graduates, you guys need to understand that the world is global. You are a global citizen in a way. You have a global passport. You cannot limit yourself to Nigeria. And this isn't even about Japa. And Paul can tell me about this. Paul is a Nigerian who applied to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and got a grant. So you have to be able to be resourceful. You can't sit down where you are and be like, oh, biology, what? You are a global citizen. You can, I have a person who is working with me here in New York. He's from Iraq. Are you listening? Iraq, you know how Iraq and America are fighting. She's from Iraq. She got her PhD in Iraq. She's working at New York State Department of Health. She didn't say that. I'm not saying Iraq is bad or whatever. She didn't say, well, I'm from Iraq, so I'm sticking to Iraq. Sheyi didn't say, well, I'm Nigeria, I'm not going to work for Beijing Genomic Institute. She applied to anywhere that was willing to take her, and New York was happy to take her, and she came. So you cannot say because I'm in Nigeria, I can't get a job. There's only jobs in Nigeria you're looking for. Start throwing your applications out. What are the things, Paul? And this is for you, I want them to be able to see themselves beyond the scope of Nigeria. And again, this isn't about I want to study abroad or whatever. This is what you can do within the shores of Nigeria. What are those? Can they apply for fellowships? Can they apply for grants? Can they apply for international internships? For instance, I know that some of you have parents that have, quite a bit of money that are willing to ask you to go abroad for your summer, to just enjoy your summer holidays pre-COVID. You guys don't know that even within that summer holiday, you can decide that you want to go and be a volunteer. But no, a lot of them will go to Primark and be taking selfies and living their best life. But you guys start thinking big. When you go to the UK or you go to the Europe or you go to whatever, how about you just take a public transportation to a university? Go and talk to the department chair and be like, hey, I'm from Nigeria. I would like to just volunteer in your lab, even if it's to wash the dishes. One day, they will say, Damilola, can you do this PCR? Sheyi, can you make this gel? You are picking up the skills. And guess what? You've made a connection. Again, this is not only about internships. It's about making the connections. It's about making those connections. You're making those connections. By the time you graduate, they'll be like, and you write to them and you just be like, hello, I finally graduated. This was my result. This is where I am now. I'm doing my NYC. I'll round up in so and so. I just wanted to touch base with you to just kind of, tell you that I've graduated and if there are any opportunities that you've heard about. That's how it might work for you. So, Paul, I just wanted to shed more light on that in the sense that are students eligible to apply for grants, fellowships, internships that are even not within Nigeria, that are African-oriented? What should they do? How do they need to start being? You need to be resourceful. You need to know how to use your phone to Google things that will make your life better. So I want you to please, shed a little bit of light on that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think you Sheyi and Dami already talked a lot about this. But one thing I would just emphasize once again is the importance of, developing skills. Like, for instance, you talked about the grant I got, for instance. Writing skills are some of the most important skills you can acquire as a young scientist. Like, you have to be able to put down your ideas and make somebody actually believe in the idea you're putting down. I mean, like, it's important to, like, develop writing skills, like, and, take online courses. Like, one interesting thing is most of these fellowships and internships that we talk about, a lot of them actually even offer like discounts for people from low and middle income countries. So apply for. One thing that I do a lot is whenever I see any fellowship I'm interested in, I make sure I apply. Even if I didn't get it, there are so many. I mean, I'm sure I have more than 10 that have rejected me. I keep applying. I don't care. You have to keep applying. If you don't put yourself out there, like, people would not know that you actually have like the skills that you have. So it's important to develop your skills and then put yourself out there. Like, for instance, even conferences. Like, there was a conference I went to go for, and the registration fee was, I think, close to $1,000 or something. So I sent a mail to the organizers. I was like, hey, I'm from Nigeria. I can't afford this registration fee. Can you offer me a discount or something? You don't believe they actually told me to come for free. Like, they canceled the registration fee for me. And they even allowed me to come and present at the conference. So, yeah, so I think it's important to put yourself out there, let people know. I told them, I was like, okay, I have this work I've done in the lab. I want to come and present at the conference. but I can't come if I don't because I can't pay this fee.
Wow,
Like,
the resources.
simple. Like they could have, if I didn't at least try to send them a mail, I wouldn't have known they could actually cancel the registration fee for me. And this conference is one of like the biggest conferences in the field of HIV research, like the second biggest conference in the world when it comes to HIV research. I couldn't even believe they could actually cancel the registration fee for me. And they actually said, "Oh, no problem, we'll cancel the fee for you once to come and present your work." So I think it's important to apply for it. Don't limit yourself. Like you said, isn't it? Like you have to think globally. Like think globally. Like when you say internship opportunities, like I said, social media has made it very easy. Like your phone has made it go online and search for these things. There's so many internship and fellowship available. Apply for them. As long as, even if you don't think you're eligible, at least apply. I mean, the worst that will happen is they will say no.
Hmm.
That's the worst that can happen. Like I said earlier, nobody's going to slap you for applying for something. Nobody's going to tell you you're stupid. At least the worst they will say is, "Oh, we are sorry, we can't accept you. Try again later." That's the worst that will happen. But at least the fact that you tried will make you better. So, for instance, before I got the grant I just got from Gates Foundation, last year I applied for a grant from the US National Institute of Health. Very big grant, very competitive. I knew it was very competitive. I knew I probably wouldn't get it. I'm like, I mean, what's the worst that will happen? You will say no, right?
And they'll give you feedback. They'll be like,
Exactly.
"This is why we denied you. Fix this, fix this, fix this. Apply
Ex-
next."
Exactly. So when I submitted the grant was reviewed by, I mean, close to like 5 professors. And even though they didn't give me the grant, their comments were so helpful, like very, very helpful.
Post comments like this, that you'll be like, okay,
Like,
if I apply this comment, tell me that I will not get this next.
exactly. So those comments really helped me. Like I read through the comment, I was like, oh wow. So it actually helped me to sharpen my skills. I was able to see areas where I can improve. Yeah, I was able to see, in fact, some of the reviewers were like, so your grant is very, very good in this area, but it's poor in this area. So the areas where they told me I was poor, I was like, okay, let me work on this. If I submit this grant to somewhere else, I would get it. Because now I have comments from 5 different people to help me make it better. But if I didn't try to submit, I wouldn't have those comments now to make the grant better. So by the time the Gates Foundation sent out this call for their own grant, I told myself, I think I'm better now. I can go for this other one. And I put it in. For like 2 or 3 months, they didn't get back to me. I kept telling myself, let's see how it goes. I sent them, I'm like, oh, I sent them the grant to you guys. Like, I haven't had any response. We're like, oh, Paul, we are working on it. We'll get back to you. Within like 1 or 2 weeks, they sent me a mail. Congratulations, we're offering you the grant. And so put yourself out there. Like, put yourself out there. When you see any fellowship opening or a grant opening, even if you don't think you're eligible, at least apply, because you will get back feedback and comments, and those feedback and comments would actually help you. Like I said, that NIH grant I applied for last year, I knew there was a very high chance I wouldn't get it.
Oh, you do.
But I submitted anyway because I thought at least even if I didn't get it, it would send back some comments. The comments would help me make my work better. It will even help my research better. It will help my research become better. So I applied anyway. And then another point is, when you get these opportunities, make sure you make good use of them. So for instance, if you get the fellowship, make sure while you're participating in the fellowship, you actually make good use of it. Let the people who invited you for the fellowship, let them see that, oh, this person has skills. Just back to Shei's point, your skills will speak for you. Like, let them see that, oh, so you can do this, you can do that. For instance, when I was opportunity to go to Cambridge University, I was there for like, I think, 4 months, carrying out some research in the lab. So the professor I was working with, anytime he tells me, oh, Paul, can you do this? I'll tell him, yes, I can do it. Some of those things I couldn't do them. But once I say, yes, I can do it, I will go back and I could spend the whole night reading about it. Like I don't care how long I have to spend it. I will read about it. The next day I get to the lab, I'll tell him, oh, so I got this and I got this and I got that. So now, because he's no longer at Cambridge, he's now at Microsoft. When he joined Microsoft, he sent me a mail and said, oh, there's an internship opportunity at Microsoft. Will you be interested in it? I didn't ask for it. I didn't tell him I wanted an opportunity. But he remembered that he worked with somebody when he was at Cambridge who had some skills that could be useful here at Microsoft. He was the one who sent me a mail. Hey, Paul, we have an internship opportunity at Microsoft. Before we advertise it, I would want to know if you're interested. And I was like, yes, I'm interested. Please, I'm so interested. He was like, okay, no problem. Send me your CV and send me some. And he asked for some details and I sent it to him. So before they publicly advertised it, he already. So when you get these opportunities, make sure, I'm not saying you should try to, be a people pleaser and be kissing people's asses. So sorry to use but like that. Not kiss people's asses or try to please people at all costs. But let them know you are good at something. Even if you are not excellent at it. If you have to read extra, if you have to work extra, if you have to learn more things, tell them, even if you don't know it, tell them, I don't know this, but I can learn. Let them know you are willing to learn. It's not just about, even if you don't know it, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have this skill, but I'm willing to learn it. Simple. Let them know you're at least willing, even if you don't have the skill. Let them know you're willing to learn. So it's important when you do get this qualification to make sure that you show people the skills you have. And even the ones you don't have, let them know you are willing to learn them, you are willing to acquire them. Let them see that you're willing. What most of these people are looking for is somebody who's willing to grow. They don't expect it to be perfect. They don't expect, they understand that you are an undergraduate student or probably you're studying your masters. They don't expect you to know everything. Nobody knows everything. Nobody is an island of knowledge. They don't expect you to have all the skills at once. But at least they want to see that you are willing to soak up information, you're willing to learn, you're willing to acquire skills. Once they see that willingness, that desire, the sky is just the beginning for you. So just always make sure that anytime you get opportunities, make excellent use of the opportunities. And that example I would give when I in 2016 when I was opportunity to go to the Walter Reed Institute of Research in the US. The scientist I got a work with over there. Before I told Yetunde this in our personal discussion. Before I met her, I have never heard of the field of bioinformatics. I knew nothing about bioinformatics. I've never done bioinformatics in my life. My background is in microbiology. My university, we didn't do bioinformatics as a microbiology student. Even the computer science course I took in my undergrad days, I hated the course. I only passed the course because I didn't want to. I really hated the course. But when I went to her lab, she does both bioinformatics and also she's also a molecular biologist. So she told me, "Oh, Paul, I think this skill will be useful for you." I've always had the bioinformatics. The things I've heard about bioinformatics has been like, it's very hard. Like you have to be extra smart. It's like geniuses that can learn how to code or learn how to program. That's everything I've always had. So I was very scared. But when she only the only thing she told me was, Paul, I think you can do this. Are you willing to learn it? And I was like, yes, I'm willing to learn. I don't know anything about it, but if you are willing to teach me, I'm willing to learn it. And I spent the next 4 months in the lab learning just bioinformatics. And now that is my major area of research. Now I'm developing my own softwares. I'm writing my own things I never knew I could do before. Those are skills I never had before. So when you work, let people know you are willing to learn. In fact, till now, I met her in 2016. This is 2021. This is 5 years. I have weekly calls with her. Every Thursday we have calls. Every Thursday. Anytime I have any question, even if my question is what is A plus B, I'll send her a mail. I have a question. Can I have a call with you? Like I make sure I have calls every week. We have calls. Like this is 5 years and we still have a relationship because I make sure I always make her realize I want to learn everything I can learn from you. I mean, you're an expert in the field. I'm just coming up. So always make sure you let people know you're willing to learn. You're willing to acquire skills. Don't think anything is too hard for you to do. As long as you can put your heart to it, you can achieve it. Those people who are doing these things, they don't have 2 years, they don't have 5 years. As long as you're interested, let people know you're willing. People will be open to teaching you.
Guys, can you hear this? Like even my blood is boiling. Like there's so many things that I took out of what you said. So I remember that someone actually, and now I've heard you and I've learned something now. Someone sent me an opportunity and was like, you should post this on Stay in Bio. And it was like, I think it was a training or something, but it was for 500 and something euros. And I was like, oh, I don't want to put this students in this. I'm not even going to post it. But now you've already said that you actually can ask for it. Just tell them this is. But again, your writing has to be important. You can have some students. There are two types of students. Students that will be like, I want it. Give me scholarship. Boom. Or hello, this is my name. I studied this. I'm currently working on this. I'm about to graduate. I don't have these skills. I don't have this resource. You need to be able to write intelligently and be like, could I please get an offer? Or even if you can't give me an offer, can you refer me to other what agencies or other internships or other fellowships that you think I can qualify, you have to be compelling. You have to let them read it and be like, wow, I have to help this person. You don't, nobody has to know you from Adam before you do. It's all about writing. Again, going back to Paul, what Paul said, it's all about you being clear. When I got my job as well, people say, oh, let me just go. When I go, I'll figure it out. Even if you come abroad, it is difficult. Getting a job is difficult. In Nigeria, it is difficult. Abroad, it is difficult. So I too had to be like, when I finished my PhD, I was trying to get a job in another area. And I also had to like write and be like, hello, this is me, this is what I've done, this is my track record, these are the things that these are the awards that I've won, these are the grants that I've written. I have never been in this area before. However, I am happy to learn. It was my compelling statement that made, you think she hired me based on my skills? Half of the things that they were doing in the lab, I couldn't do it.
You didn't know how to do them.
Yes, it was the initial writing, it was the initial email that I wrote to her. She immediately responded to me and said she wanted to talk to me the next day. So writing skills are important. I've had people that will just write to me and they won't even ask questions. Like when I was at the University of Southern Mississippi, because my name is on our website, when Nigerians come and they browse through the page, they say, oh, this is a Nigerian person. Let me, write to and see if there's anything they can say that, might boost my chances of entry. I've had people that write me fantastic emails. And I've also had people that write me horrible letters. I'm not saying horrible in the sense that they're insulting me or something. They're just like, oh, it's very nice that you are here. Oh, wow. And I just said I should email you. Email me that what? Do you think I'm going to respond to you? You didn't even ask a question. In your email, you're not even asking a question. In my emails, I make it a point to say that if you can't help me, forward me to the next best person in your network that can help me. I say it there and I'm like, this conversation is even going somewhere else. Let me even digress. But I hope you guys get my point. I say it there. I'm like, I'm really interested in this opportunity. I hope this position is still open. However, if it is not, I'll be very happy to speak to you about several other opportunities that you are privy to that that may help me. If they cannot hire you and they are nice people, they'll forward you to another person. So don't give up on yourself. Don't think that you can't do it. Don't think small of yourself. You are a whole human being. You can do a lot of things. Don't say that I'm from Osho State or Nasarawa in Nigeria, man. I can't do it. You can do it. So Paul, before I move on and start talking about something else, you said something that really struck me. You said that you had someone heard about an internship at Microsoft. Microsoft is not biology. So I kind of want to use that to segue into how you can branch out, right? There's somebody in and I'm going to be able to we're quickly running out of time. We can't continue for long anymore. So I want to wrap this up really quickly about branching out into science, right? How easy is it? Should I give up because I'm studying botany? Because from what you're saying, you're doing something computational. You might as well go and be working for Apple or Microsoft tomorrow doing something, so how is branching out, is your microbiology, does it preclude you from working anywhere that you want to work? Can you use your microbiology to fit into anywhere? Are there certain certifications people need to get? I just want to open their breadth or their wealth of knowledge about how they can branch out into other, sciences based on the primary degree that they have. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, thank you. So just like I was saying, it's important as undergraduate students to be open and very flexible. So, for instance, like I said, my first degree was in microbiology. I didn't know anything about computer science. Like I only took one computer science course in 100 level, CMP 101, and I didn't even like the course anyway. The only reason I just tried passing the course because I didn't want to fail. But like I said, during my master's, I got the opportunity of going to Walter and I met this scientist, and she was like, I think bioinformatics might be good for you. So at that point, I said no. I mean, all the things about the bioinformatics has been, it's very hard. I can't learn how to code, things like that. But because I said yes, she was willing to go the extra mile in teaching me. It's important to, and because now that I'm like I said, my major work now is in bioinformatics. Like I still do lab work, obviously, but the major thing I do is bioinformatics. But I realized that my microbiology background is actually helping me to be a better bioinformatician. Because don't forget that most of the things I'm doing, I'm trying to like develop software to analyze biological data. If you're a computer scientist and you're developing a software to analyze biological data, because you don't understand the biology behind the data, you might not really. There's some things you will not put into consideration that I would put into consideration because I have a microbiology background. So because I know the rate of, maybe I know the way a virus like HIV replicates. So when I'm developing a software to analyze HIV data, I would put into consideration the fact that, oh, HIV replicates faster than other viruses. So if I want to understand that HIV, the kind of software I would develop will be different from the software I would develop for any other virus.
Mm.
So, so always be flexible, always remain teachable. That's the main thing. Teachable and flexible, and just make sure that you keep learning new things. Like one interesting thing is now there are so many online courses that you can take. Like you don't have to like if you go on Coursera or on EDX, there's so many online courses that you can take that can actually help you to learn to acquire different skills that can actually even help you later in the future. For instance, the reason why that professor could offer me that internship in Microsoft was because he knew that I have some computational skills, even though my background is microbiology. So, in when Microsoft poached him from Cambridge, because he was in Cambridge, Microsoft employed him. They wanted him to come and help them to set up their computational health department or something. And then he remembered that I came to work in his lab, and he remembered that even though I'm a microbiologist, he could remember that, oh, Paul used to do some computational work. So he called me because he wanted me to come and, oh, Paul, can you come and do this internship and come and help us to set up so in our lab, since you have some background in microbiology. So just make sure that you are flexible, make sure you are learning, because sometimes what will get you the job of your dreams might not be your primary degree that you studied, maybe the other skills that you acquired.
Yeah, I love it. I like what you said because I know somebody who studied biochemistry actually went to do a master's in economics. Now he was not trying again because they are abroad. That's another thing people don't tell you is, oh, they just tell you to travel. They don't tell you the other side of, when you travel, you have to start thinking of residency, you have to start thinking of jobs and things like that. So he was trying to, see how he'll be able to stay. So he was like, okay, then let me go and do a PhD. There was no funding for majority of the courses he was trying to do. And he was like, okay, let me study computer. So imagine he studied biochemistry. He did economics because he thought, business is the way, as many of us would try to veer off. And then he went and he just applied to the computer science department. They hired him because he had a bachelor's degree in biochemistry. And they were like, somebody that can do drug design, that can something like that can make a machine learning something for drug design. And that's because he had a biochemistry degree. So don't say that, man, let me go and work in NAFDAC because as it is, it's E. coli you can only be finding in water. No, you can do a lot with a biology degree. So I want to round it up now, and I'm just going to ask you, Sheyi, $1 billion question. That's the reason why I'm here. Are there jobs? And I'm having a lot of my DM, so maybe we can take like 5 minutes to answer the question. But I just want to tell you, for people that are still young, they don't have as many roles. They don't, everybody's still trying to grow, and eventually to first level, well, I apply to Microsoft or whatever. And matter of fact, you're not too small. Start looking at those opportunities. You never can tell. You never, never, never can tell. Don't ever look down on yourself. You insult yourself to say that you can't be anything in this life. You must be joking. To think that because you have a zoology degree, you cannot function in life as somebody that has sin. That's a big lie, and you need to start repenting that mindset. But Sheyi, back to my question. Please tell us the truth. Are there jobs in Nigeria for biologists? Are there pathways? Are there things that we can do with our degree? Can you Can you just tell us that in a nutshell? Then we'll open the floor for questions and answers.
Okay, definitely there are jobs. Okay. I'm not talking about bank because I don't see if I hear Access Bank one more time, I can strangle somebody. I'm not, so when I say there are jobs, I'm not saying that there are jobs that you can do without your degree. There are actually jobs you can do with your degree. But sadly, they are not enough, okay? But the truth is that the ones available, safe, we have not finished utilizing them. You need to speak to the right people, number one. Yeah, a microbiologist looking for a job. You are speaking to bank manager at Access Bank. That's why they are sending you training link to come and do training in Access Bank and go and be a teller. Okay, rich people who, let me tell you one thing I always tell myself. I don't. If yesterday I went for a hair appointment. Okay, and the owner of the salon I went to go and check her hair. I started this natural hair journey last year, May. I want you to focus with me. I'm going somewhere. I'm not just saying this for fun. Okay. And I looked at, before I went to her salon, I looked at her hair and asked myself, if I have that hair, will I be happy? Is that the kind of hair I'm looking for? Do you understand? Is that the kind of hair I want my hair to be? Right? And so I looked at her hair. She has very long, beautiful, healthy, natural hair. And I said, that's the store I'm going to be going to make my hair. Now, in the same way, look at people in bio that you want to be, that you don't mind trading places with, that you feel like, oh, if I'm actually doing this research that Paul is doing, or if I'm doing this work that Dami is doing, I'll be happy. Those are the people that you need to meet. Right. Okay. So meet people in bio like yourself, working in bio, and are successful in bio. Okay. And guess what? You know, Paul, Paul said this, the worst thing that will happen is, oh, I don't have a job for you right now. But guess what? You've made an impression. You've entered the mind of a person. This is what happens to me all the time. Somebody comes to me and says, oh, I actually need a job and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I don't have any job at the moment. But the moment that somebody reaches me that they're looking for this person or that person, the first set of people I remember are the ones that have asked me before. Okay, so there may not be an opportunity when you ask the person, but once there's an opportunity open, the person is likely to think of you first. So reach out to people. There are jobs. That's number one. Number two, we are scientists for a reason. We can make our own jobs. I've explained how science is life. They literally can't do without us, scientists in bio. So we can make our own jobs. In your degree that you have studied, begin to think of things that you can. That's why we study science. With literally observation, experiments, and inference. Basic science, okay? So think about what gap you can fill in your degree, and let's create a job. There are people, there are organizations who are very interested in people creating jobs, right? In science. Link up with them is easy. Link up with them is easy. Google is your friend, really. Just Google people interested in startups that have to do with bio, okay? And you'll be shocked at the opportunities that we have. I'm going to give you an example. There was this person, and this is also in line with what was said before. Your bio degree will open doors for you. And you'll be shocked. About 5 years ago, Paul, we didn't know that maybe not 5, maybe like 9 years ago, we had no clue that bioinformatics will be a thing. It doesn't even make sense. Do you get? How can you join computer and biology together? Or maths and biology together? It doesn't make sense. People who study economics, how can you join? How can there be something like bioeconomics? It didn't make sense at the time. I'm saying this because in the future there'll be more of them. There's also the part of geology and microbiology. I don't know if people are familiar with that. That's where they're doing this bioremediation, and making detergents, so on and so forth. Studying microbial cultures in the soil, biology and geology. Do you understand what I mean? There are endless possibilities with science. We have not exhausted them now. We may never exhaust them in the future. These things happened from people thinking out of the box and just thinking, oh, there's actually microorganisms when diesel pours out of a generator on the floor. What effect does that have on the soil? Somebody thought of that, and that's what we're scientists. So as much as we're looking for jobs, we can also look for these things inside us that prompt us to be curious. Our curiosity is our greatest ally as scientists. Curiosity is what it brings forth a lot of innovation. So yes, there are jobs. Let's look in the right places. Let's consult the right people, which brings me to the importance of mentorship. Let's speak to the right people. Let's look at the right opportunities. Apply for conferences, workshops, meet people in conferences and the workshops. Worst case is they'll say that no, we don't have space for you now. But guess what? If they have space next year, you're the first person that they'll contact. Put yourself out there. There are actually jobs out there. And so that's my answer to your question.
Yeah, there are jobs out there. You heard what she said. You might need to refine your Google. What are you Googling? How are you Googling? Who are you talking to? This thing, Bio, has already given you a platform now. You know that someone like Shay exists. If what she's saying kind of pulls your heart, or if Paul is like, yeah, this Paul is really banging my head for this bioinformatics thing, or if it is Damilola with cancer, and you see yourself in these areas, these are resources for you. Start, go and find them on LinkedIn, send them a compelling message, tell them where you're lacking. They might be able to advise you. One person doesn't have the answer. They might be, so talk to the right people. Don't go and be posting on Instagram when they say, after your biology degree, what next? If you say you want to go and sell hair, if you want to you need to be able to learn how to be relevant. Dami, do you have any other things to add? I just asked that billion-dollar question. Are there jobs in Nigeria for biology, so that they know? Are there jobs?
Jobs, right? Other than what Shay has mentioned, I just want to, like, my final word would be, do not limit yourself, right? Don't feel like because I did microbiology or I did biochemistry, I have to end up in the lab. Not everybody has to end up in the lab. Like for me, I did not end up in the lab. She is also doing fantastic in another field. There are diverse opportunities that are available to us, even in bio. So do not limit yourself. Be as open-minded as possible. Look out for opportunities. And I think that was one of the things that made me also mention stay hungry. I feel like if you're hungry, you find opportunities in most obscure places. Like this is where no one has even thought of. You'll find an opportunity there. So stay hungry. Look out for opportunities as much as you can. Be open-minded. Connect. Look out for people that can be like an aspiration, or you can look up to, you can admire. You also, like what Paul said about writing, you also have to be able to sell yourself, not just write, but sell yourself based on what you have done, where you're going, where you currently are. And there will be places where you can maybe plug and play. For me, maybe I'll just say this in closing. Even though I studied microbiology, I do not have a master's degree, not because I never thought I wanted to do one, but I also was not of the school of thought to do an MBA, though I was doing sales and marketing, so to speak, but I also did not want to do just an MBA. business administration. It didn't sit right with me. I also didn't want to just do a degree that would be, you know, for lack of a better word, you know. So I told myself I was going to go into whatever career that I find myself and find where I'm most comfortable at. Maybe because I've worked for about 7 years, I know for sure I don't want to wake up every morning going to a job that I'm not happy about. So I want to look for a job I would do, though it will be challenging, but I'll be happy that I am doing it because I'm impacting lives. I'm happy that I'm doing it because it gives me joy and it doesn't feel like a job, or it doesn't feel like it's something that I'm being forced to do. So I decided to take my time before going into maybe another course. I was not one of those people that would just do a master's degree just for the sake of it, right? And with my work experience now, I know for sure that I've been able to identify where I want to go, what kind of master's degree or specialty I want to go into even further from here. So I've been able to take pieces and parts of where I currently am. What parts of this speaks to me? What parts of this do I feel in the long run I can build a career in? I have done research in that, and I found that okay, despite the fact that it's not sales and marketing, I have a passion for patient care, patient navigation. I have a passion for hospital management because I also identified that even within hospitals, private sector or public sector, there are a lot of gaps. There are a lot of factors that are lacking. And so I want to look for a course or a degree, a diploma in that aspect. And I can plug and play whatever experience I have gathered over the years, add on a certificate or a course, a degree, and then merge those two together and build a career that will take me even further beyond where I am now. So limit yourself. You might not get it right at first. Do not, I mean, as much as you want to go far, you also should not be in a hurry. You know, take your
Right.
time, look out for places or different aspects of bio that you feel they speak to you, you're comfortable, you know, you find you derive joy in doing, and then you then take those parts, you know, sharpen those rough edges, maybe get a course, a degree, or a certification in that aspect, and then you move from there. Don't be in a rush. I mean, there's no latecomer in anything. Last, everybody will be fine. But stay home, on the lookout for opportunities, and the sky, like I said, it will be a starting point.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has said it, and you guys have heard that there are jobs. You just have to know the right places to go to plug yourself in. You need to also, like Dami said, I like what you said about being comfortable. It's not, masters is not always the answer. PhD is not always the answer. I did a PhD because that's what I thought you get, was the pathway to where I was going. Now I'm learning that, okay, I love that I did a PhD, don't get me wrong. Me, I love what I'm doing. But I just want to put it out there that it's not by force, right? I know somebody who does something food, and I'm going to actually get her to come and talk to you. She's doing in Canada, and she was applying for years and years and years for a master's degree, not years and years and years, but about 2 years to get a master's degree scholarship and all that. And she couldn't get in. And all she did was she just applied for what's it called now? She applied for like a certification in something quality assurance food specialist. Now she's like a supervisor in one big company in Canada. So, and she doesn't have a master's degree. Look at Dami, she doesn't have a master's degree and she's a detailing expert at Johnson & Johnson. So there are options. There are options that are available to you in Nigeria, outside Nigeria. Don't play small. Don't tease yourself. Don't play in that crowd mentality that you better go and do what they call it, KPMG or whatever. Go and do that GMAT and go and work in KPMG, or otherwise you end up as a school teacher or whatever. Don't think like that. This is why we're here. You now have this resource. You should learn how to be resourceful. You know these different people. Look out for them on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on everywhere. If you need help, ask. So for the maybe 7 minutes or so, I don't want us to go too long. You know, type out your questions. I already have some questions that have been sent to me privately, and I'm going to take this person. This person says that, how do I get back into bio roles? And feel free, anybody, if you feel like you have an answer to this question, just jump at it. If you have any questions, people, attendees, put it in the chat. Let's see how, if we can be able to help you. How do you get back into bio roles if you have veered off the bio pathway and you don't have as much work experience? Basically, she's saying that she has only 3 months internship and she doesn't have as much experience. How does she get back in the game? Does anybody want to take a shot at that?
So first of all, I'll ask what did she branch out into, right? What was the field of study?
Maybe she's an entrepreneur. Yeah, I don't know, cooking. Maybe she's a caterer.
You see, once a bio, always a bio.
Right. Okay.
So there's always a pathway back, right? So if she had veered into another field, I would have asked her to find the link between science and that field, biology and that field. Because believe you me, biology has, like we've established just before now, biology has links with almost everything. If not everything, it will have links with everything in the future. But for the fact that she's an entrepreneur now, what I would say she should do is she or he needs to focus now on skill development. The other thing that can make people with experience for you
of skills. So you can just take that question together.
Yeah, I'm going there. The other thing that will make a way for you is experiences, right? They will say you have to have social experience, which you don't have now. But what you can do in place of it is get skills. Now, determine the part of biology that you are going back into. This is something that you will need to think of very carefully. Are you coming back into microbiology, or have you observed what is the in thing in the field? Is it bioinformatics you want to go into now? Is it molecular biology? Is it genetics? And then begin to attend workshops in that particular field, right? I know a couple of companies that do bioinformatics workshops if you want to go into bioinformatics. And begin to look at unpaid internships. This is your sacrifice for yourself, okay? Look at unpaid internships. Approach any company, any lab that you feel they do what you want to go back into. Send them an email, tell them you want to work for a few months unpaid with to get some experience, okay? The skills that you gather doing this will pivot you back into bio.
I like it, and let me just say that it rings a bell in their ears when you say that, and to you it may sound like, and I know it's a difficult decision to make sometimes with the unpaid internships, because some of them may have families and they really do need to put food on their table. But if this is something you can spare, it's like music to their ears if you tell them that you want to do an unpaid internship or a volunteer opportunity, but make sure you are doing it in somewhere relevant. Don't say that, you
yes,
want to do something bioinformatics and now going to
make it worth it.
You want to be testing blood sample. It's not going to work, right? Make it very relevant. Be very clear about what you want to do. If it is bioinformatics, if it is genetics, under genetics, there are the skills that you need to learn. So you will now go and write to maybe one of the genetics companies in Nigeria or Paul's lab or something and be like, hey, I've been out of school. I want to get back in the game. Of course, you're not going to be informal. This is just an example. I want to get back in the game. Can I volunteer for a period of time? I just want to learn how to do PCR, run a job, cloning, this, that, this. Do it 3 months. See what will happen. Maybe there will be a job opening. If you make an impression, they will tell me that they might not. Paul, I need you to call me out.
Actually, I want to give like a practical example to even buttress that point that you just made. So there was this young guy that he sent us a mail in our lab and said he would like to come and do an unpaid internship, and if we would like to accept him. So we brought him in. He came. I think he came for like 3 or 4 months. Do you know that because of the internship we did in our lab, he was able to get a PhD position in the US, in Cornell University, just because of the experiences he had in our lab. So, prior to coming in our lab, he has never done anything molecular before. But within those 4 months, he was able to acquire so many skills that he applied. Not only did he apply, he was also able to get reference letters from the lab, obviously, because everybody was willing to get reference letters for him because he did very well. It was very impressive. Now he has gotten a PhD offer at Cornell, and then I think he's starting, is it this year or next year or something? So, unpaid internships are really good.
And I know there are many people on this call that are trying to get to go to school abroad. But when they hear that unpaid internship, you've offended them. Hey, in fact, they can even slap your face. No jokes. So it's the truth. You need to be able to put yourself in. Something has to give. You've already veered off. Well, you want to come back. Something has to give. Because you veered off, I'm sure you had a blank phase. You had a life phase where you basically had to learn how to be an entrepreneur, how to build your business. You also have to come back to bio and learn how to be a biologist all over again. So don't let it irritate you when you hear about unpaid internship. You're going to get referrals, you're going to get references, especially those of you. Look at Paul now. Would he have had the mind that he wanted to try to go to Harvard or write a grant to meet Bill and Melinda Gates if he didn't decide that he wanted to do what he wanted to do? So don't play small. Let me see if I can get 2 more questions and then we can will you guys be offended if we stay till like what's the time now? I don't know the time. Yeah. 10 more minutes.
So that's fine.
That's fine. Then.
Sounds good. This one says that I graduated 5 years ago with a degree. I think we've already taken it with a degree in microbiology, but I've been able to get a job and I do not have a certification. I just need an advice on what to do next. I think we've already taken that. Your best bet is on paid internships. And again, look globally. Start looking at opportunities that are available. In fact, there are many organizations that are trying to sponsor people that are from developing countries. That right. So that thing we were talking about in the chat, that you what's that word now? That you are eligible for, that you're just because of the fact that you are from Nigeria. They don't that studied abroad, they want you. So start learning how to be resourceful. This one says, I studied microbiology in the University of Port Harcourt. I finished with a 2-2. I'm going for my NYC. I won a scholarship. Again, it's all about putting yourself out there. If you want scholarship.
I can see a question here.
Go ahead.
From Faith Onyeka, she says, how do we cope in the real world when during undergraduate degree we were just taught a particular type of practical?
Paul, I think that question.
Yeah. So I think that's.
I read it for you, Paul. Help us.
Yeah. So I think that's actually a very, very good question. So
it is,
and it still boils down to some of the things we've been talking about before. So one of the things is, don't limit yourself to what you are taught in Nigeria, what you're taught in your school. Take online courses. Like, if you see opportunities for like fellowships, or you can, I think Ethne mentioned this. There are so many fellowships out there specifically for students from developing countries. Like that is all they're looking for. Like they want students from developing countries to come and acquire skills. So if you finish your undergraduate degree, you only taught one particular there's some schools that you 100 level to 400 level, you will never do PCR as a microbiologist. Like you will never ever want to do a PCR machine. I've met like a PhD student, I think from one federal university in Nigeria, who she's doing her PhD. She doesn't even know what gel electrophoresis is. Like she has never heard about gel in her life. And of course, you can't blame her because Nigerian universities actually like teaching all these things. So it's important to don't limit yourself to what you're in your school. Don't limit yourself. Take online courses. If you see opportunities for like internships and fellowships, apply for them. If you can, apply for them. Like, don't just limit yourself to what you're being taught to, and also be very flexible. Like I mentioned earlier, be very flexible. Like, be willing to learn. Let people know that you're willing to learn. And once people see that desire in you, that desire to learn and acquire new skills, people will be willing to teach you. I mean, I think when I was having a personal discussion with like Ethan, I told her I've actually realized that there are so many nice people in this world. Like, you don't know how nice people can be until you actually like reach out to them. Like,
Right.
there's so many kind people in this world. Like, you need to actually reach out to people before you actually just limit yourself. Like, if you have to send a mail to somebody, I'm so person, I'm from so country, like I saw this fellowship opening maybe in your lab or in your university. I would really love to come and learn some of these skills. Like, learn to like reach out to people and connect to people, and don't just limit yourself with your knowledge you acquire in your university alone. Like, take online courses, apply for fellowships, go for internships in labs where you can acquire some of these skills. There are some undergraduate students in our lab currently who are doing internships in our lab, who the reason they came to the internship in our lab is because in their universities, even though they are doing microbiology or doing maybe biochemistry or doing zoology or even study, there are medical students who are doing internships in our lab. And the reason they are doing the internships in our lab is because even though they are in medical school, they've never done anything molecular in their lives.
Right.
So they heard about ASGID and they were like, you know what, let me go and do an internship in ASGID. Maybe I can acquire molecular skills in ASGID. And they came over. They are still undergraduate students. They've not finished their undergraduate degree. They are still undergraduate students, but they are currently on holidays. So anytime they are on holidays, they will come to our lab for their. In fact, there's a particular guy who I think is in 400 level now.
Okay.
But every holiday since he was in 200 level, he comes to our lab for internship.
You see,
Since he was in 200 level.
I mentioned it before.
He was in 200 level. Anytime he's on holiday, he would send a mail to us like, I am on holiday. And I was like, and because all of us already like him in the lab, like we always, in fact, sometimes we are the ones who call him that, how fun, when I go to be on holiday, come and work in the lab now. Like, because we already really enjoy working with him. And today is in final year. When he went to start his project, he was the one who taught his own supervisor molecular skills. He taught his supervisor, he told his supervisor, this is what I wanted my project on because I did internship in ASGID. So I want to use molecular skills I want to use molecular tools. I don't want to do basic microbiology work.
Yeah.
And the supervisor was like, okay, no problem, since you want to do it. And he called us and he was like, I want to do my project, and I come and do my project in the lab. And because we already liked him, we were like, sure, come and do your work in the lab. We allowed him to use our equipment for free, do everything for free, because he had built a relationship with us right from his second year. So don't limit yourself to your university. Like, go out there, write emails to people, send messages.
I like what you said. Again, it's echoing the same thing we've all said. Be specific about what you want. Find those places. It's not ASG that's doing it. There are several companies. Dami can back me up on this. Shay can back me up on this. That love to do training. That love unpaid internship. There's someone else saying too that I'm doing.
Please.
Go ahead, Shay.
Okay, so there's something from Usman here that says something about we've talked about links and stuff, resources, and we should drop a few links to that. I'm gonna give you one now. I wanted to waste time for Faith Onyekachi. The key to what we have been saying is go for an unpaid internship where it matters. Okay, go where we didn't get the practical experience. I saw an electrophoresis machine in IITA for the first time in my life after we have been taught DNA separation. And it didn't make sense to me until I saw it. So we cannot rule out the importance of practicals, okay, of seeing these things, because that's how you know them. But make sure you go to for an internship where, for example, Paul's lab, ASGID, I know ASGID very well. They have the sponsor internationally, you have the equipment you want to see and that you learn from. Do you understand me? So that's that on that. For Usman's question, the first thing I'll tell you, everybody go on Instagram, follow.
Yeah, follow Stay in Bio. If I don't follow Stay in Bio, here's your case. So, because see now, see all the people I'm bringing out to you. Come, learn how to write. I know somebody now that I don't finish adversity.
learn major and saying something.
Go ahead, Shay. Sorry, I was trying. Your line is cutting, so.
Oh, but did you guys get what I said?
Something. Go to Instagram. Go and follow.
Yes, follow Opportunities for Africans.
Opportunity. Let me go and follow them.
Opportunities for Africans. I'm going to send you. Yesterday, I will send you the page so that you can post it on Stay in Bio. Okay. So there they post fellowships, they post scholarships for Africans, they post fellowships, they post internship opportunities from different world-known organizations, and most of them are free. They are literally begging you to come and learn. Okay, so we can start from there. Opportunities for Africans. Then for the other ones, I know that the company I used to work for used to offer trainings on molecular biology techniques for those who want to learn bioinformatics, for those who want to learn DNA sequencing. The company is called Inkaba Biotech. I will send it to you also yesterday so that you can post it on the Instagram page for people to see. Those ones do these workshops for a small fee. It's usually about 1 week workshops, but they add to your skills, okay? So that when we're saying go and get skills, go and do unpaid internships, we're not just being abstract about it. A couple of labs you can go for your internships. I'm in the molecular biology field, so I can only say about molecular biology. I cannot say without mentioning African Center of Excellence in Ede. There's IIT is a really good place to be, especially if you are working with plants. There is the Lagos State Biobank now, especially if you are working with viruses, you can do an unpaid internship there. There are also a few biotech companies I will share with you here today. That if you are not interested in the lab, if you're interested in the administrative part of biology, there is an administrative part. Dami and myself can attest to that. Okay, you can go to those people for unpaid internships as well. So we'll share with you top labs in Nigeria that are equipped. I've been privileged to visit a lot of them. I will share them with you. Look for them online, send emails to whoever you see there. If you meet with any one of them, perfect. But if you are looking for scholarships, fellowships, internships, follow Opportunities for Africans.
Thank you. I'm going to Stay in Bio too. Because if you don't follow Stay in Bio, all these things she's telling me, you're never going to find out about it. There's also a mailing list. I'm going to reiterate everything that they said, all these companies that she's mentioned to help you. There are 62 of you right now on this call. You will get places. It's not possible that you will not get places. Whether you want to travel abroad or not, you will. You just need to be plugged into the right community. And, Shay has mentioned, I'm going to be bringing out a lot of more people. Make sure you're attending these webinars, these seminars, by other places as well. If it's this opportunity for Africans that you follow and they're doing it. And I always post it. You guys are people that follow me on Instagram and my witnesses. I'm like, if you want to travel abroad or look for scholarships, go and follow this person's page. Go and follow these ones for scholarships. So it's so important. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add. A lot of people are even putting it on the chat already. FIRO, IITA, ASGID, DNA labs in Kaduna. Imagine all the way in Kaduna here in the north. Dami, does anybody else have anything else to add before we close the chat? We've been here for 2.5 hours, and I hope this has really, really helped you. Please let me know. The Instagram ID is at Stay in Bio. I'm also on Facebook too. I just expanded to Facebook, and I'm going to also expand to LinkedIn. Follow us on at Stay in Bio. There's many, many, many more webinars that are coming. I think seven extra after this one that are on several different things. If you have any other questions, you can email me. You already have my emails, it's on the Zoom thing that you got, email me. Be sure that you follow. There are people that have been pitching their tent on this Zoom call, but like I've told you before, you already now should start thinking professionally. If there's anybody here that you like the way they talk to you, and you would like them to mentor you in a specific area, don't go and just say, hey, can you be my mentor? I've already said that, like, it's not, they're just even going to be overwhelmed. What do you mean I should be your mentor? Do you know the meaning of that responsibility? Ask me a specific question. This is where I am. This is where I'm going. I need help here. This is my gap. Can you help me? Be very specific. Give me a question that I can answer. That's how you can catch the hearts of people. Follow at Stay in Bio. Follow all these places that we're going. Join the mailing list. If there's anything that I hear about, there are many people also abroad that I know that have labs, or that there are schools that I know that, okay, this school is hot cake, but they don't have a good marketing thing. So they don't get a lot of applicants. And I know that if there are great students that apply there, they will get in. I know it in my own chest, I know it. Right? But until you connect with me before you can get all those opportunities. We're building a community. Someone said that the WhatsApp group should no, WhatsApp groups are crazy. But there is going to be a community for you. Definitely follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on LinkedIn when we expand. And you have these people here already. They're a resource for you. Also be able to Google, know what you want, start reading why. This is your future we're talking about. No one is going to take my PhD from me. No one is going to take Shei's manager thing away from her. No one is going to take the 7 years experience in cancer that Dami has, and no one is going to take Cambridge away from Paul. So do it for yourself. Love yourself enough to want to stay in bio. With that, meeting has come to a close. If nobody else has any other thing to add, yes, there are many online courses, and right, there's even something called iBiology. That one is even free. They have so many. If you want to learn how to do PCR, gel electrophoresis, and you want to understand the concept, you have lecturers that are there sitting in front of you that are teaching you in 14 minutes, in 10 minutes, YouTube, all of those things. Go and make yourself, empower yourself. Please, I beg you, don't be mediocre. Don't think small of yourself. Thank you all for joining. I'm going to add all of you to my mailing list so that if anything comes up, or with all of these things that have happened, I'm going to send it out to you immediately if you have any other opportunities. Damilola, thank you so much. Shei, thank you very much. I'm grateful. Paul, it's been meeting you and networking with you. We want you to be able to grow so that you two can write. We can all come together and write grants that will make Nigeria great again. Let me speak like Trump. Great again, right? We want you to stay because we want to be able to build something relevant. There are things that Paul has done that his name is going to be in the marks of time, or Shei and Dami, and myself and all of you out there. We just want the best for you. That's all. Thank you all for joining. I'm going to end the meeting now, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Goodbye, all.
Thank you, guys. It was an amazing time and a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful week.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everybody.
Have a great week, everybody.
You too. Bye-bye. Mm.